Dennis. So I am a co-founder of Bedrock Collectibles. So we are licensed customs producer of collectibles here in Canada since 2019. So ngayon papunta ako sa Metro Convention Center. First time we had a booth in there, it was 2022. It's a huge event that happens every year. So 150,000 people, traffic. Pag exhibitor ka, may business ka in this type of nature talagang, that's the place to be if you want to sell or make a name of yourself. And we're doing it again after 2 years.
I'm Chito Arellano, VP of Design at Arlux Customs and a game director for Arlux Studios. So I've been working in the toy industry for over 25 years. I've worked for Hasbro, Mattel, even Toronto's own Spin Master, and a few other companies in the toy industry.
Nag-umpisa ako sa comic books talaga. Nung bata ako, ang dami akong toys, you know, pop culture, Zoids, ganyan. Nung nakita ko paano yung proseso at paano i-produce yun, naengganyo ko kasi very specific. Eventually, nakakuha ako ng license along with my partner. So, start namin tong company nga nito, Bedrock Collectibles. So, different ballgame na kasi dami na involved. Everything's legal, everything has fees of some sort. Getting a license alone is very expensive. I'm the one that oversees the creative side of the business and also operations. While he's more on, you know, dealing with direct communication with our licensors, admin, legal, law, and all that stuff, which is I lack. So yun yung parang missing kinda link back then, kaya hindi ako makapag go to the next step dahil I just simply don't have a time kasi meron akong full-time job and everything too. Toronto Fan Expo is one of the largest conventions in Toronto. They have one in every province. Sa mga iba dyan na are getting into pop culture and this type of hobby, trend, this is a good place to start. From a fan that started out a business and from a visitor to now an exhibitor, I highly recommend you can, you know, check these places out. And it only happens once a year, so yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Hi, my name is Shankar Waju. I am the co-founder and CEO of Bedrock Collectibles. And we're here today at Fan Expo 2025. I remember having my very first Incredible Hulk, and this is like way back in the early 90s. And that got me hooked in the whole Marvel and comic book side of things. And it really took off when the X-Men animated series came out. And that really solidified my love for comics, action figures, and, you know, stylized characters. And I still have a collection at home, still have my old childhood Toy Biz X-Men action figures, and yeah, it really grew out of that.
Partner ko, actually siya nakaisip ng name. So, kasi yung materials nito mga to, it's called polystone. Polystone, so you know, Bedrock has something as, you know, relation to it, I guess. Filipino license, Trese. Meron siyang Netflix adaptation, pero may license kami based on sa comics lang. Para siyang homage. Kasi nga, Filipinos, everything. Okay. So ito, prototype to. Yun yung pinagbabasihan para before kayo mag-mass production. Actually, gawa sa Pilipinas to. Proudly made in the Philippines. Matagal na proseso. Once na ma-approve na yun, concept stage, prototyping is, you know, let's say another month. Production is another 3 to 6 months. And then delivery pa nun sa mga customers. Kasi sa comics, meron siya portrayal. Like ito yung nuno. So, kung ito lang lalagay ko dyan. So, sikat na comic book artist yun. Si Bujete Tan and si Kajo. Yan. Para siya nakadungaw. Yan yung parang nuno sa comics. Yeah. Yan, para lang siya nakadungaw. Balete. Ang China talaga, like sila ang top, right? Workforce, everything, as everyone knows. Pero ngayon, we're trying to convince na magkaroon ng bagong parang work industry producing collectibles. Kasi capable sila eh. Living proof na yun ito. Kasi prototyping pa lang, flawless na. So, if you start that work industry na mayroong production line to produce collectibles, magkakaroon ng opening sa ganung industry. Lalo na ngayon, AI, pinapatay na yung, call centers. Ang dami mawawala ng trabaho. Right? Tingin ko ang Pilipinas masyadong they always get the short end of the stick. Like, animation, Maraming laging in-between lang yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Which is, in my opinion, ang daming resources na, ang daming napaka-talented. You just gotta keep them in line, give them opportunities. Pero we have to change. So nag-partner kami sa kanila. And at the same time, we're coming up with our own art toys, which is this guy over here. Actually, name niya is Death's Head, pero meron siyang Philippine concepts din. May balisong siya sa ibabaw ng niya. So we're slowly trying to get into that scene.
Almost every single manufacturer in our space, they rely heavily on China. And this is our way of not being reliant on China and also giving back to the Philippines and showing that you can produce quality collectibles in the Philippines and make a viable business out of it. So this is in a lot of ways, it's a love letter to the Philippines and also Canada, and seeing how we can grow as one. And I'm sure other people will try to follow in our footsteps, but this is our way of showing that collectibles can thrive in the Philippines and in Canada at the same time.
After seeing a lot of my projects getting shelved, I just was like, I have so many ideas, and it killed me that things weren't moving forward on stuff that I wanted to do. So the opportunity came up where I was like, well, I can leave my job and start something, because this is the time to do it, right? This is my last chance, my last hurrah, right? Because I'm up in age, up in there. So I was like, why don't I give it a try?
Nagkaroon ng trend na it's called kidult. So nag-start yan ng pandemic where yung mga household, mga pamilya na may anak, instead na bumibili sila sa mga anak nila, bumibili na sila for themselves. So yung trajectory nun, it's been an upward trajectory in the span of 3 years. Kaya yun ang ngayon, ang trending ngayon. Yung mga matatanda, age 30 to 40 mga nagbibili ng mga toys.
So working with Bedrock gives us the opportunity to work with DC because they have the DC license. We've got 2 brands that we're working on right now, or 2 lines, which is the Cyberware Elite and the Mode S figure. So our Cyberware Elite is we take pop culture icons and give them a cyberpunk look. So the first off the bat with DC is we're doing Batman Beyond, right? We've gotten concept approval from DC. Now it's just production approval. This is our production sample. And with our figures are actually all magnetic. The parts are magnetic, so they can come apart and easily snap back on. We also will have variant body parts, like variant heads, variant arms with weapon packs, Right now we're designing a batarang for him, which is going to be this giant shuriken. And yeah, so it'll be a great opportunity to put that out there. It'll be probably releasing in 2026, we hope. It all depends on DC. Our second line is called Mode S. And I'm not sure if you guys know what a bear brick is, but we're going to be in the same lines as that collectible. The big difference is that our figures are actually modular. So you can actually take the figure, take off the helmet, like, you know, it'll have different parts, or if you collect deep, you can actually mix and match, switch your characters, and all that stuff, right? This is one of our original characters over here, which is, it's called Cyber Skull. We're planning a comic book. We're actually working with a comic book writer who did Trese named Budget Tan to help us write our comic. And we're working with artists like Ian Santamaria to do cover art and all that stuff. So yeah, look out for us at 2026. But if you're here in Toronto, like just follow Bedrock Collectibles, go to their website because they'll have all our stuff there.
I was a collector, you know, I bought all the figures, I bought the statues, right? But then I realized there's a lot more that can be done in the market. And I realized that there's a lot of underdeveloped, underutilized characters that get no shine, they don't get the spotlight, and there's no real collectible for those types of characters. And that's how I met my business partner, Dennis, right? We've been in this space for quite a long time, and we got talking one day and we said, hey, why don't we just start our own company? Why don't we make our own licensed collectibles, right? There's a lot of underserved characters out there. Good example is Captain Canuck, right? The character that started it all. That's what really got us to the forefront, and that's what really made us, you know, elevate and really bring new types of artistry and new types of designs out to the market. And you know, it's been amazing since, right? So, you know, just having that type of exposure to different types of characters, but also keeping it grassroots, right? Keeping grassroots to Canada, it just felt like a match made in heaven for us to start with someone like Captain Canuck.
Dati, manual sculpting, right? Traditional. Pero as soon as na nagkaroon ng 3D printing, lahat na 3D printing. Everything's digitally sculpted na. Ang purpose ng mold kasi is replication. Yeah. Ang 3D printing, yeah, you can print it how many times you want, pero once na meron kang molde out of that 3D print, you can, you know, do 500, 1,000 pieces of it.
Also working with Konami for Silent Hill 2. That's a big one for us. We just launched that one. And also the crown jewel for today, the Captain Canucks. We're launching the Kickstarters. So we're really stoked about that. And we can't wait to bring Captain Canuck to all the collectors throughout Canada and, you know, throughout the world as well.
When we first started, of course, it's brand awareness. I'm telling them about the company, but then after a while, I just start geeking out and start talking about how much I love like the DC products or DC characters and stuff like that. I mean, the reason why I designed the Batman Beyond is because I like Terry McGinnis, and I feel like he was a perfect fit for the Cyberware Elite stuff. It's always about like connecting with people, and that's easy when you're both a geek and like you're a designer, but you're also a geek.
We're Canadians, and we've been always been super passionate about Captain Canuck, the comics, and you know, the overall aesthetics, right? And when it came time for the 50th year anniversary, we knew that we had to be part of this as a Canadian company. And what we did was we started a Kickstarter. We're launching not only the classic suit, but we're relaunching the modern suit, both 1/6 scale, and we're gonna have a lot of bonuses in store for the public, including a switch out head, switch out arms, and as a little gag, we're gonna have them carry a bottle of maple syrup. So we're super stoked about that. When it comes to Captain Canuck, you know, especially when with the current economic turmoil and the friction between the U.S. and Canada, and the talks of Canada becoming the 51st state, and You know, all this talk about Canada and being like a second-class nation, right? It draws a lot of parallels to our situation. We've been working extremely hard over the last few years. We've faced extreme competitive pressure from the States. There's two extremely large competitors out there that have been actively trying to take us out of business. And we're not going to stand for that. We're still here, we're still fighting, and we're not going to give up anytime soon. And we want Captain Canuck to be not only our rallying cry, but for Canada's rallying cry, a symbol of Canadian hope, Canadian passion, and ingenuity, right? And this is how we put Canadian collectibles on the map, and we don't take shit from anybody.